Welcome back, fourth graders. Live here again from the American Civil War Museum of Ohio here in Tiffin, Ohio. We're excited to continue with our virtual school days here in 2020. Hopefully you all now are experts in the 9 men's Morris game that Mr. Stoltz put together for you previously. What a great experience that was for you, hopefully, and we look forward to moving on to our next presentation. A couple reminders that this link will become available for live streaming at your convenience. So if you happen to be late or you show up, or happen to miss this one for any reason, shortly here in the future, you'll be able to view this at your convenience. Also, shout out to Tiffin Calvert for being the first to check in on our live chat. That live chat is available for any questions in regards to the technology or the technical setup, or if you have any comments that you would want to share with the presenters here today. So as we move on to our next presentation, I have Mrs. Smith and Mrs. Williams to give us a great presentation and experience here of music of the 1800s. So with that, I turn it over to the two of you, and thank you very much.
Thank you. Hi, as Eric said, my name is Mrs. Smith, and this is Mrs. Williams, and we're going to be sharing with you music from the mid-1800s. First, we're going to share a little bit about our instruments and a little bit about their history. My instrument is a hammer dulcimer, and it's a trapezoid-shaped instrument. It goes back a long way. It's a very ancient instrument, dates back during biblical times, probably in the Old Testament. But it's related to the psaltery and the zither. And from that, it evolved, and those are both Middle Eastern instruments, so it has a Middle Eastern background. The hammer dulcimer was brought over to America from England by the first colonists, and it was even mentioned in a logbook on a ship in the year 1609. They probably looked a lot different than mine does now. Many people would make them at home in workshops. They were very popular in the 18th and 19th century because they were so portable and they were very simple to play. The settlers were able to lug this around a lot easier than if they would a piano. So that's why they were very popular. And they were easy to make at home as well. In the 1840s, factories in New York started to make them more of a standardized dulcimer, and they were sold by traveling salesmen all throughout the US and Canada. Historically in America, dulcimers were most often played at dances. They were frequently accompanied by a fiddle, like Mrs. Smith is going to do here in a little bit. They were often also accompanied by banjos or guitars at dances. And I'll let Mrs. Smith or Mrs. Williams explain her fiddle.
Yeah, the first violins came from Europe, more specifically in Cremona, Italy, in the 1500s, somewhere in that time. Cremona, Italy was the home of the workshop of the Amati family, and they had 2 apprentices that worked for them. Apprentices were people who wanted to learn a very specific craft from like the master who knew the most about what they were doing. And so one of their apprentices' names was Antonio Stradivari, and Stradivarius, that might be recognizable because that is the most sought after violin made, the ones that were actually made by him. And you will still see, if you look inside a violin, there's usually a label, and you'll still see that name, but it's usually a copy of the ones that Stradivari would make. And then eventually, violin makers did come to America, more so after it became settled and prosperous. The first violin that they actually found that was most likely made in America was around 1750. So there you have that.
Okay, we're going to play a few songs for you. The first song that we're going to play is a fiddle tune called Liberty. It was written in the 1800s, but nobody knows for sure exactly where it originated. Some people say it was in Canada, and then it went over to Ireland and England and had many different names then it came back over to the United States. So it has a very sketchy history, but it's played as a reel for dances, and it's a really fun tune. So here is Liberty. Give a shout out to Old Fort Schools. Thanks for joining us. Glad to have you here this morning.
And Mr. Kraft.
And Mr. Kraft, yes. Thanks for joining us. Okay, our next song is called Rosin the Beau. This song was written in Britain or Ireland, no one knows for sure, in the 1830s. This one also has many different titles and lyrics, but the one that's most often remembered is it was played for Abraham Lincoln's campaign song in 1860, and then it was called Lincoln and Liberty Too. That was the title it was given then. So this is Rosin the Beau.
Central.
Hi, Buckeye Central. Thanks for watching us.
And I don't know if it's on your agenda. Can you do a little history of your guys' playing music?
Oh, okay. Renee and I, or Mrs. Williams and I, she's my real life sister. We've been playing together 20 some years. She started when she was 9 years old. She learned the fiddle from another reenactor friend of ours who got us into reenacting, and he kept bringing instruments over to my family's house, and a friend of my mom's lent me a hammer dulcimer. I had always wanted to play hammer dulcimer, and our whole family just started playing instruments. My mom started playing banjo, my brother started on the accordion and the guitar, and my dad was on the lush tub bass, and so we played at the Heritage Festival, and all kinds of different reenacting places, Oak Ridge Festival, the Hayes, when they used to have that. So our whole family is very, very involved in music, and we just love sharing with everyone else. Okay, we're going to do a couple more tunes. This next tune is called Garryowen. It's an Irish tune written in the early 1800s, possibly earlier. It was popularized by the Irishmen in the U.S. Army, and it was so well liked by General George Custer and his regiment that it was informally adopted as their regimental marching song between 1861 and 1866. So this is Garryowen. Okay, we have one more song for you. It's called Golden Slippers. You may recognize it. It was written in the 1870s by James Bland and was used as a minstrel song. It went on to become a popular song played at dances. So this is Golden Slippers. This last song that we played was called Golden Slippers, and the song before that was called Garryowen.
Thank you very much. Great job, Mrs. Smith. Mrs. Williams, fantastic job. Great job today. And fourth graders, thank you very much again for attending this session. We'll wrap up this session and be jumping back on at 10:30 with our Civil War and the Berdan Sharpshooters. So we'll see you soon. Thank you.